Hey everybody! Welcome to CAF Warbird Tube, the show where we talk about World War II, aviation, history, and so much more. Warbird Tube is produced by the Commemorative Air Force, the world's largest flying museum. Our mission is to educate, inspire, and honor through flight and living history experiences. The CAF began the Warbird movement more than 65 years ago, and thanks to the support of individuals like you, we continue to grow strong. We hope you enjoyed this episode, and now our host, Steve Buss. Thanks for watching and keep 'em flying.
Good evening and welcome to CAF Warbird Tube. This is episode number 141 of Warbird Tube, and tonight we continue our series of shows focusing on the CAF's annual fundraiser, the 12 Planes of Christmas. This week, the SNJ from the Music City Wing in the Nashville, Tennessee area. Before we get started, please do us a favor. If you haven't already done so, take a second to like, share, or subscribe and follow us. And if you do subscribe on YouTube, click that bell icon so you get notifications of new episodes of Warbird Tube when they're posted. Warbird Tube is made possible by the Commemorative Air Force. To find out more about the CAF, our events, aircraft, local units, or how you can be part of the fun, just visit our website at commemorativeairforce.org. Now, as you're watching tonight, you might have some questions. Just type those in the chat box and we'll answer them either during the presentation or before we sign off. Now, before we check in with the folks at the Music City Wing, here's a few video clips they've already put together about their beautiful SNJ airplane.
Meet November 224 X-Ray, an SNJ-4 from 1943. A legend doesn't become a legend on its own. Every history maker or hero has a teacher behind them that showed them the ropes and taught them how to be great. During World War II, all hands were needed to help protect America, and pilots were in high demand. But who was supposed to train all of these new pilots who've never flown an aircraft before? Well, the SNJ-4 was up to the task. Soon, November 224 X-Ray found its first job at the Naval Air Station in Kingsville, Texas. It stayed in Texas from 1943 to 1945. After getting some quick repairs in Pensacola, it went right back to teaching brand new pilots in Brooklyn, New York. Between 1950 and 1955, November 224 X-Ray jumped around to different naval bases to help train the next generation of pilots fighting in World War II. Its last assignment was in Michigan, where it remained until it was honorably decommissioned on October 25, 1965. Today, the 224 X-Ray found its new home with the Music City Wing, based in Nashville, Tennessee. It's continuing to bring the past to the present by inspiring the next generation of aviators and thanking those who served. So thank you for your generous donations and helping us put a new heart in this airplane. Because of you, this legendary teacher will always be flying high.
I think this plane is actually really cool, and I've always wanted to be a pilot, and I really like history, so this is kind of like a dream come true for me.
Well, very cool. Very cool, dude. Well, thank you for sitting in our airplane.
You're welcome.
Hey Warbird fans, this is Bruce Thomas coming to you from Lebanon, Tennessee, outside of Nashville. I'm the maintenance officer for the Music City Wing of the Commemorative Air Force. Next to me here is November 224 X-Ray, a 1942 SNJ-4 advanced trainer used by the Navy. We use this airplane throughout the air show season and throughout the flying season to promote aviation, educating kids, and the mission of the Commemorative Air Force, which is to educate, inspire, and honor. It's 12 planes of Christmas time, and that means the CAF is raising money to keep them flying. This year, we're raising money to replace the engine and propeller We're about halfway there. We need your help to get over the goal line. The overhaul costs are right around $60,000. Right now we have a corporate sponsor, Tom Duncan Avionics. Tom's agreed to go ahead and match $3,000 over the next 3 days. So we need your help to replace this engine and propeller to help us get over that finish line. We appreciate your support and thank you very much.
And with that, we go to Lebanon, Tennessee, and join some folks from the Music City Wing, just outside of Nashville. Victoria Teat, Ron Dillard, and Bruce Thomas. You just saw Bruce on that video a moment ago. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Hi,
Steve.
thank you so much.
Yeah. Well, each one of you, we'll go from left to right. Tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got involved in aviation and especially in the Music City Wing.
I started flying about 57 years ago and had a very varied background as far as aviation goes. And I flew helicopters in Vietnam and corporate for 25 years and jets and helicopters. And I was aware of the Commemorative Air Force, of course, like most everybody in aviation is. But and not until in 1919, David and Gerald Oliver came up and gave a presentation trying to promote a wing for the Middle Tennessee area. And I went to that presentation, and it kind of changed my perception of the Commemorative Air Force. I hadn't realized what kind of a organization and service organization that it was until that time. So I joined up then, and we got our PT in October of 2020, and Bob Heath came up, delivered the airplane to us, and he checked me out in the airplane. I'm now an instructor in the PT-19 and the safety officer for the wing. And we are hoping to raise enough money with this campaign to replace the engine and prop on our SNJ.
Great. And Bruce, how about you?
My name is Bruce Thomas. I got into flying gliders when I was 13, did powered at 16 and 17, got my license, flew corporate, airlines, and I've been playing with general aviation the whole time. Always wanted to be involved with Warbirds. Just didn't know that I could get involved in this way. And as Ron alluded, David and Gerald came to town, bought Nelson and I a steak dinner, and said, well, if one of y'all will be the ops officer and the other one be the maintenance officer, we'll give you an airplane. We thought that sounded great, and we've been off to the races ever since. So I'm still the maintenance officer, and he's still the ops officer, and the wing is growing, and we're having fun.
Very good. And Victoria?
So I actually got into aviation officially when I went on a field trip with a group, and we came here to the Lebanon airport. And at the end of the trip, the tour guide asked us, hey, would anybody want to go for a flight? And I said, yes, absolutely. And after that, I was hooked. And just this past August, I got my private pilot's license, and I'm working towards my instrument now. I was going to say, and then I found out about the CAF in 2020. There was a lady who ran and oversaw cadets or younger people in the EAA chapter I was in, and the CAF had an opportunity to bring in younger people, and so that's how I got involved with it.
Wow. So the Music City Wing has only been in existence a couple of years. You already have 2 aircraft assigned to you. You've got a beautiful hangar that you're sitting in, and you've got a cadet program and a hangar dance we'll talk about a little bit later on. But wow, you folks hit the ground running.
We're trying, Steve. We've got a lot of great people. We seem to so far have a lot of very good people in all the right places to really make the wing run well.
Excellent. Well, let's talk a little bit about the SNJ. In the video earlier, you heard a little bit about its history, but this airplane has kind of been around a little bit before it came into your care.
Yes, that's correct. It's not a famous airplane,
Right.
but it's done yeoman service in the Navy for 14 years. It was delivered to the Navy in April of 1943, and it spent its war years in Kingsville, Texas, training naval aviators. And after the war, it had several different places that it was going. It spent time in Pensacola, and also the NART in New York, and the Squantum, NART Squantum for a while. And it was stricken from the service in 1957. And shortly after, it was sold to the civilian market through NAS North Island. And it stayed in the civilian hands, about 4 owners, I think, and it was in the civilian hands for about 16 years. And then it joined the CAF in 1973, I'm sorry. And in 1973, it was in Midland, Texas, and it spent time in Cleveland, in Texas, and Florida. And we got the airplane in just a couple of years ago, just 2 years ago. And it's been in the CAF now for 50 years. It's starting the paint scheme is starting to fade some. The engine is nearing its life limit, and I think the airplane needs to be a heart transplant, if you will, so we can continue in its service.
And that's why we're featuring the airplane tonight. Is you're looking to raise money to redo the engine and the propeller. Do you know offhand when the last overhaul of that engine was?
Well, most of us have looked at that little penny that's in the engine there that they put in 1340s, and my son stood on the ladder and looked at that penny, and he said, "Dad, I think that penny says 1992." I said, "Oh, well." So yeah, we're pretty sure it's been the same engine. It's due.
Yeah.
But yeah, 1992 is when the last time it was overhauled.
So now, for those who are not in on the little secret that you just talked about with the penny, explain that to someone who might not be familiar with these big old round engines.
Okay, so my knowledge of round engines is extremely limited. However, when you have a 12-year-old son that asks a lot of questions, you got to learn fast. And down here at the bottom of the engine, right about there, is a plug that has a hole in it that is the perfect size for a penny to be put in there. And I'm not sure when the tradition started, but usually they find a penny from the year that it's overhauled, put that penny in there, and put a piece of safety wire over the penny, so you can easily identify when the engine was last overhauled.
A little bit of round engine traditions that continued even today.
For sure.
And I know, Ron, you mentioned this is not a famous airplane by any stretch of the imagination. Although you really don't know who in pilot training would have flown this airplane. It could be any number of naval aviators who went on to famous exploits during World War II. But I think more importantly is the mission that you're talking about, and that is that this might not be a Corsair or a Mustang or a B-29, but it's a very integral part of the history of World War II, because anybody who learned how to fly the fighters had to go through the T6 and the SNJ before they got the big wings. So this is really a very important part of training during World War II.
And that's correct, and it's also one of the more affordable Warbirds that folks can ride in.
And speaking of that, obviously it's in the rides program. Any idea how many rides or how many people you've been able to give that flight experience to over the years?
So the airplane is pending approval in the rides program as far as rides for sale, but we've given multiple rides to youth and veterans in the airplane. We try to have the same no seat flies empty policy within the wing when we're moving to and from events.
Good. And when it's not flying, obviously, as this photo shows, it's a great opportunity for folks to climb in the airplane and get a feel for what the World War II aviation is all about.
For sure. Well, Victoria, you want to speak about this picture?
Yeah, of course. It's definitely a really inspiring aircraft for people, even if it doesn't have super famous history. Whenever we go out and introduce people to this airplane, they are always filled with so many questions, and a lot of times we can just kind of bring them into the aviation world and see all about warbirds, because they don't realize how accessible like organizations such as Commemorative Air Force are just to the public, and I think that's a really wonderful thing.
And again, with the T6 having the metal sides, it's a lot easier for the general public to get in and out of without having to worry about the fabric covering and things like that. And not only that, but it's also a very roomy cockpit, so you don't have to kind of scrunch your way into it. It's easy to get in and out of relatively for a tail dragger, but again, gives that sense of what pilot training was like. And of course, because it flies, you also get the added sensory overload of the smells of the airplane as well.
That's correct. And we attended the Smyrna Air Show in Smyrna, Tennessee, last June. And the Smyrna Air Show went on for about 4 days, and they had something like 25,000 attendees a day. And we were one of the few airplanes on the ramp there that allowed folks to climb into our cockpit. And we had a line. Those 4 days, the line never stopped. And we figured we'd given about 225 people to sit in our airplane during that time.
That's awesome. And again, it's a great way to share the history and heritage of these aircraft with the general public. They just don't always have that opportunity when they go to a museum or, as you mentioned, at an air show. I mean, not every aircraft owner is willing to be able to let folks sit in the cockpit, but when you can, it's really important.
That's correct.
Looks like some interesting labor here cleaning the windows.
So I'll take this one, Steve. Those are two of our cadets. My son is on the left. You can tell he's in uniform, and that's Rhett. And Andrew on the right is son of our maintenance officer, Dev Cannon. And so this was a day where we were out flying and getting some of our pilots trained up. And they just love climbing out there on the airplane, cleaning it. You give them a job, and they just go do it. They really enjoy being around the airplane.
How long has the cadet program been in existence with the wing?
It's about 2 years now.
2 years. Okay. So just about
Yeah.
You pretty much got your airplanes and started the cadet program.
Well, I'll tell you what sparked the cadet program is James Davis, our wing leader, and I attended the national conference, and we weren't really sure about CAF headquarters, the people running it, and what we came away with was, wow, these people are really focused on the future, because you can always honor somebody, but if you don't have people coming into the program to continue what we're doing, the program won't continue. And so that's what really led to us starting the cadet program. Well, James headed up the cadet program, and with Victoria's help, they've done a fantastic job growing it.
And I think that's something that the CAF has put an emphasis on in the past, probably about 5 to 7 years or so, is involving younger people in this passion that we all have. And by younger people, folks in their 20s and 30s, and then the younger generation of the cadets. And it's really is nice to be able to see that the spark in the youngsters' eyes when they see these airplanes and realize that they're not as inaccessible as they once thought they might be. And it's a pretty important part of the mission. If you had any words of advice, any of you, for other wings who may be watching this and are thinking about maybe doing a cadet program, but they're maybe a little hesitant, what would you tell them?
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'll take this one. Sure. Honestly, I would say the best advice I could say for somebody in another squadron who wants to start a cadet program is be genuine and go out and just find people who are younger, who are interested, and be inviting, be ready to mentor, because a lot of these kids coming in, they genuinely are so in love with aviation, and sometimes they need a little bit of guidance. And I think that that's something that our squadron has done just an absolutely amazing job, is just setting things up so that people know where to go, and being there and helping the cadets who are going through certain parts of their flight training. And it's just been an amazing experience. And I think another thing we have going on is we're working on getting some scholarship stuff going, and just anything you can do to invite people and bring them in is obviously what part of all the CAF stuff is about. So that would be my advice.
And participation. The youth really enjoy doing things, and we've had field trips to the Nashville Tower, to a airline maintenance facility. So we have a lot of participation in those, and the kids enjoy it.
That's great. And one of the things that I've learned through my experience is that for a number of young people, and maybe some of your cadets reflect this as well, their interest in aviation, it's almost an isolated pursuit, because a lot of their friends might be into sports or drama or the arts, whatever, but there's not that many who are interested in aviation. So they kind of feel alone, and maybe a little like odd man out or odd girl out, because they have a pursuit that's not mainstream, as it were. And this cadet program, along with a lot of the other youth aviation outreach programs that different organizations have, kind of bring them together and let them share that passion that they have for airplanes.
Absolutely. I'll say for sure, as somebody, I recently finished up with all of my schooling, and I can say for sure it's very isolated, like you said. And when you get around other people your age who are interested in aviation, who are just as in love with it, it's probably one of the most rewarding and wonderful feelings that you can ever have, because it's like finally you go your whole life an av geek, and then you find people your age who are into the same stuff, and all of a sudden you're not the nerdy kid, you're just like everyone else for once. And it's just it's wonderful. I've made so many friends through the CAF and the places I'm in aviation, and it's amazing.
That it is. And the smile on this little one's face kind of tells the whole story, doesn't it?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Sure does.
So now, is this the picture we're looking at now? Is that from the Smyrna Air Show that you were talking about?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
That's the line.
Yep.
The line of folks waiting to get into the cockpit.
How did you
determine?
Of people, go ahead.
I was going to say, and a lot of the people, whenever they would get into the cockpit, we'd end up talking to them for quite some time, because, like I said before, they'd come in with so many questions. I mean, it's an amazing, beautiful aircraft, and people want to know everything they can.
How do you determine who's going to stand on the wing, and how long do they have to be up there?
So I'll take that one. At first, we thought, oh gosh, I'm going to stand on the wing for a little while. And then one of Dev, who's our development officer, has a military background, and he finally came to us and said, "You're done. Go drink water. It's somebody else's turn," because you have no concept of time as you're talking to the kids getting in and out of the airplane.
And it looks like there's some relatively big kids in that line as well.
There's a few big kids for sure.
When you get the airplane approved into the rides program, do you have a number of pilots who will be ready to start hopping rides?
Yes. So we're extremely fortunate here in the wing. We have a number of commercially rated pilots that also fly the PT-19 that are transitioning to the SNJ. And our rides program on the PT-19 allowed us to just plug those same pilots right into the SNJ. We're fortunate that with the second airplane, we've kind of just created a pipeline for sponsors to come in and come right through the PT-19 straight into the SNJ and just continue on from there.
Yeah, we're looking at kind of a close-up of the PT at the moment, and that too, I would think, is an airplane that can draw a crowd at an air show as well.
For sure,
it does. It's a beautiful airplane, iconic airplane.
Yes, and again, go ahead. It's all right.
I was going to say now we actually have a name for the PT. It's Sheen. Or no, we changed it. It's Miss Cornelia. It's named after Cornelia Fort, the aviatrix in the Women's Air Force Service pilots. But I love that airplane. I love both of our airplanes.
Very good. And again, looks like a happy customer going for a ride in the back seat there.
Right. That's one of our wing members, but that's not a member appreciation ride. That's actually a veterans ride there.
Excellent.
Going on, and that's the guy that looks like he belongs on top of a doghouse with Snoopy in the front is me. So
hard to tell with the helmet and the goggles on.
Right.
One of the and I kind of blew by the picture here, but one of the things that you've done for the past couple of years is put together a beautiful hangar dance. And first of all, tell us a little bit about the hangar facility that you have, how you came to be there, and then a little bit about the hangar dance.
Don't mind if I take this one. So the hangar facility is we have the wing leader, maintenance officer, and ops officer have put the hangar on loan to our local wing here, and so we have hangar dances in there. We always love a good event. We're Nashvillians, so we like to do things up and do it right. One of our lovely members, Miss Diane Pogue, she is retired, but in the corporate world, all she did was events. And so as every good pilot has a great idea, it all comes down to the execution. So as usual, one of the ladies took control and helped us execute in a big way the first year. We turned it into, it's migrated from a hangar dance to a hangar fundraiser. So the first year we raised about $3,000, and in the second year we raised $13,000, and that's money that's going into the engine fund for the airplane here.
That's awesome.
So the pictures you see there, we have a local band that's 17-piece band that comes and plays for us, and they're extremely happy to play in our facility with the airplanes and the people. You can notice down there towards the bottom of the picture, there's a gentleman in uniform there. And so we have people that come in period costumes and then also come in actual attire from the 1940s. So it's something that everybody gets involved in and everybody enjoys.
Well, seeing as that you're right in the Nashville area, I thought maybe you'd have a hangar dance with country western music.
Well, we were put on to a band from Watertown, and Joe Thornton and his folks do a fantastic job of jazz and swing dance, and they do a great job.
Excellent. Well, let's talk a little bit more. Let's focus in on the reason that we're getting together tonight, and that is to raise some money so that that engine and propeller right behind you there gets an overhaul, and this airplane can fly again for the next 50 years. So how are we doing on raising money so far?
Right now, we're probably 2/3 of the way there. We've got a goal right now set for $10,000. Obviously, we'd like to go higher than that. Shout out to Miles Vickers. Miles, if you're viewing tonight, we appreciate your support, sir, and we look forward to meeting you. The overhaul on the engine's about $61,000. The propeller is going to be another 7.5 to 10, give or take, and we've got another gentleman from Chester Roberts Supplies who's going to help us out with firewall forward parts. And we've really had a lot of corporate donors step up and help us out. And we've gotten there close, but we need everybody's help to get over the finish line here.
Well, and that's a good point. You mentioned that you have some corporate donors, which is great. It's always wonderful to have businesses step up to help out the wings, but it really comes down to it's just the nature of the CAF. It's a grassroots organization, so the $10, $20, $30 donations mean a lot, and so do bigger donations. So there's really an opportunity for folks to be able to support this at any level that they can, and really help keep the SNJ flying.
Absolutely, any donation is the right amount.
There you go. And not only is it the right amount, but you've got a couple of matching grants that are going on as well. So it even makes your dollars go further.
That's correct. Tom Duncan Avionics, who does a lot for our wing in Fayetteville, Tennessee, he does fantastic work. His company is matching donations up to $3,000. And then we had another corporate sponsor, RT Medical. They're matching all donations up to an additional $5,000. So we've got $8,000 worth of available matching funds to help get us to the point where we can fund the engine and propeller overhaul here.
That's awesome, and we're very pleased to have it as part of the 12 Planes of Christmas, and for you to also be able to have the matching donations, which you give $10, it's now worth $20. So whatever you can give to help support this airplane, especially now with the matching grant going on, it's a great time to just head over to the website, go to the slide down here. Here it is, commemorativeairforce.org, and when you see Santa and his airplanes, just click on that link and trace yourself down to the SNJ from the Music City Wing and make a donation. Like they've said, any donation is welcome, and with matching grants, it makes your dollars go even that much further. So yeah, if you had to kind of give someone some advice who's sitting on the fence, not sure if they should donate to this airplane or maybe one of the other ones, what would you tell them? Why should they give to the SNJ?
Who wants to take that one?
Well, the SNJ is one of the foundations of our World War II and after, up until about 1959. I had a partner in St. Louis who was a Navy pilot, and he actually flew in his training was the last class that used the SNJ, and that was in 1959. So it had a long career. It was actually a design ahead of its time because it put in so much time and so many different roles. It was actually used as gunships, as trainers, as forward observers. It had a lot of different roles. And although it's not a glamorous airplane, if you will, but it trained folks to fly those glamorous airplanes, and it did a great job doing that.
Hey, Steve, I've got something to add to that. I'm not sure the picture may or may not be in your slide deck there, but do you happen to have the picture available that has our youth in front of the airplane with their fingers pointed at a particular gentleman?
No. I've got this one.
Okay. Okay, I'm sorry. Right. Well, I was just going to say that when you donate money to replace this engine, if you'll notice, none of us have spoken about the people that are actually manipulating the controls of the airplane, because it's not to put somebody in front of the general public in a flight suit so they can look cool. It's about the kids that you see right there getting to climb in the airplane, getting to ride in the airplane. We've got some of our youth that have graduated out already who are coming back and sponsoring the PT-19 and getting involved, so the cycle continues. So you're really donating to an airplane serving the kids right now is really what this airplane is doing, and we just appreciate your support continuing that. And sorry to put you on the spot about the picture, Steve.
Oh, no, that's quite all right. Victoria, any thoughts that you'd like to add?
Honestly, I would just like to reiterate what Bruce said. It's definitely the people in our chapter are just amazing, wonderful people, and there's so much passion and life here. And I think if you were gonna on the fence about donating, I would just say we're bringing in so many people, so many younger people, and definitely doing our best to further the future. So that's all I've got to say.
Very nicely said, all three of you. We'll wrap things up in just a few moments here, but give you one more chance to share any more thoughts that you have either on the SNJ, the PT, or the wing itself. We'll start with Ron.
The wing is, even though it's a fairly new wing, only been in operation for about 3 years now, we have, I think, made an impact. We had last spring we had a fly-in, and we brought in several Warbirds from around the area, and we had a great turnout for that. The community is supporting us. We're in a process, a very preliminary process, of trying to build our own hangar on the airport here, and things are progressing well. I think we have a unique bunch of folks with our wing. We have a lot of nice volunteers who step up when things need to be done, and I think the future for our wing is very bright at the moment.
Sure.
Bruce, any thoughts?
Yeah, I'll just say I want to thank Alan Brooks and Leah Block for doing all the hard work for getting this 12 planes program to keep it going. Last year we were bystanders. We didn't understand it. This year we are very much dialed into what this is and how to make a good go of it. And I just want to thank the folks at headquarters for giving us the opportunity to take care of 2 airplanes. We're very grateful.
Yeah, what Bruce said. Thank you all so much for everything you do, and the donations that you do send. They're very, very appreciated, because not only are you donating to a CAF squadron, you're also donating to a group that has our core value as educate, inspire, and honor both the past, the present, and the future, and just continuing to better those around us and in the aviation industry.
I would just add my congratulations to all of you with the Music City Wing. First of all, it's not easy to stand up a wing. Second of all, it's not easy to recruit people. And sometimes it's easy to recruit people, but to recruit the right people. And just from what I've learned about the Music City Wing and what you've told me tonight, not only have you recruited people, you recruited the right people with the right passion and the knowledge and know-how to work together and make this a successful unit. So just a couple of years into it, congratulations, 2 aircraft, great cadet program and everything. It's all seems to be going very well. So let's keep the momentum going. Tell us again about the matching donors that you have out there.
Right. So we've got Tom Duncan Avionics out of Fayetteville, Tennessee. They're going to match $3,000. We've got RT Medical. They're going to match another $5,000. Both of those corporate donors, along with others that we have here in the wing, you can find information about their sponsorships to our wing at cafmusiccity.org.
All right. And to participate in 12 Planes of Christmas, go to the CAF main website, look for Santa in the airplanes at the homepage, and then find the SNJ and go ahead and click on that Donate Now button and help them get this airplane back in tip-top shape. And also remember that those matching dollars will help your donation go even further during the 12 Planes of Christmas. Again, Ron, Victoria, Bruce, we appreciate you taking time to share the story of the SNJ and your wing with us. Good luck with the 12 Planes of Christmas, and look to see that gorgeous airplane on a flight line somewhere down the line at an air show or an aviation event. Look forward to seeing it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Steve.
All right. And Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays to everyone in the Music City Wing, and continued success in 2024.
Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays.
All right. And thank you all for joining us tonight. If you'd like to send some feedback, or maybe you have an airplane you'd like us to feature in an upcoming show, just send Leah Black an email at media@cafhq.org. Again, thanks to our guests from the Music City Wing for joining us tonight. Please go to commemorativeairforce.org and donate to help this airplane and all the aircraft that are featured in the 12 Planes of Christmas. Until next time, I'm Steve Buss. Have a good night. We'll see you next time on Warbird Tube.